Sejarah lembaga intelijen Amerika modern dimulai pada masa Perang Dunia Kedua. Tahun 1942, Presiden Franklin Roosevelt membentuk Office of Strategic Service untuk menjalankan spionase dan sabotase di wilayah yang diduduki Jerman dan Jepang. Saat perang berakhir, Kepala OSS William Donovan yang dijuluki Wild Bill gencar melobi pembentukan badan intelijen yang tetap berfungsi meski Amerika tak lagi terlibat perang.
Today there is not a single permanent agency to take over in peacetime certain of the functions which OSS has performed in wartime.
Sehingga lahirlah CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, 18 September 1947.
In the National Security Act that established the CIA, a critical thing was done. They gave the CIA responsibility not only for gathering and analyzing intelligence, but also conducting covert operations of all kinds in the interests of the United States.
As you'll recall, in the late 40s and the early 1950s, there was enormous growth of communism in Western Europe. That was our principal focus during those years.
Sepak terjang CIA mengundang kontroversi di dalam negeri. Wartawan Tim Weiner mengkritik tajam CIA dalam beberapa buku karangannya.
The legacy of operational failures is long, very long, and the successes don't always stand.
Di awal Perang Dingin, upaya penggulingan rezim negara-negara musuh mencakup upaya pembunuhan kepala negara.
Fidel Castro in Cuba being the primary example, of course, that those efforts failed. But it's fairly certain that Presidents Kennedy and Eisenhower had authorized those operations, believing that Castro was a puppet of the Soviet Union and needed to be removed at all costs.
Media Amerika Serikatlah yang membongkar sepak terjang CIA pada pertengahan 70-an di masa puncak Perang Dingin. Pada saat itu, setelah melalui investigasi yang intensif, akhirnya Kongres mendesak Gedung Putih untuk melarang percobaan pembunuhan kepala negara musuh sebagai alat politik luar negeri Amerika Serikat. Presiden Ford menjadi presiden pertama yang menandatangani perintah eksekutif ini di tahun 1976. Di atas kertas, pembunuhan kepala negara jelas-jelas dilarang. Namun dalam konteks perebutan pengaruh blok Barat dan Timur selama Perang Dingin, baik Amerika Serikat maupun Uni Soviet menorehkan reputasi sebagai dua kekuatan yang mendalangi berbagai proxy war, perang yang menggunakan pihak ketiga.
It's not James Bond. It's not one agent out there, doing these bold and intrepid and imaginative things. It's a small army that the CIA operates around the world.
It's a paramilitary force.
It is a paramilitary force that kills people and engages in battles.
These are not necessarily paramilitary activities. They may be, they may not be. They may be political action, the helping of people who are anti-democracy back during the early days of the Cold War. These are people who expanded communism, so we used a surprising, sometimes small number of people to help turn the tide.
Dampaknya jelas. Warga dunia, khususnya di tempat-tempat yang pernah disinggahi CIA seperti Vietnam, Iran, dan Indonesia, memiliki kecurigaan dan prasangka.
People have a right to be suspicious about U.S. intentions because throughout the history of CIA operations, be it overthrowing regimes in Iran and Guatemala, being intervening with great force in Indonesia and the Middle East, be it overthrowing governments in Chile and the Congo, the United States has not shown a great deal of sensitivity for the people on the ground in these other countries. Rather, it has pretty much pursued its own interests, looking at what happens in those countries as collateral damage.
Covert action is always controversial, partly because people don't completely understand it and they imagine it to be often more than it is. That's been my experience in any event. And the truth of it, though, is that every American president since Harry Truman in the 1940s has wanted the option of being able to carry out some activity in the world that influences events without the hand of the United States necessarily showing.
Operasi rahasia itu salah satu tool untuk presiden di Amerika Serikat. Dan sebetulnya semua negara ada intelijensi. Di Indonesia ada Badan Intelijen Negara, BIN. Di Thailand ada, di Malaysia ada. Jadi kalau presiden di negara yang mana aja, di Indonesia atau Amerika Serikat, tidak memakai covert ops sebagai policy making tool, itu foolish.
Perdebatan mengenai etis tidaknya Gedung Putih menggunakan operasi terselubung CIA sebagai instrumen politik luar negeri terus berkecamuk di dalam negeri sendiri. Sebelum bocornya operasi CIA di Libya, Gedung Putih, Kongres, dan juga masyarakat Amerika Serikat ramai membahas mengenai tuduhan agen CIA melakukan penyiksaan terhadap tersangka pelaku teror. Penyiksaan diduga dilakukan di tempat-tempat yang dikenal dengan sebutan black sites, penjara rahasia CIA yang dioperasikan di luar wilayah Amerika Serikat. Tahun 2006, Presiden George W. Bush mengakui keberadaan penjara rahasia CIA ini. Dalam segmen terakhir Inside Metro TV, tim VOA akan mengulas keterlibatan CIA di Indonesia.